Hi, Joy. Can you hear me now?
Oh no!
I don't know what's
So
happening.
you can hear everything. No, I can't hear you. I can't hear you now. No, I cannot. Let me pull my mic. Can you try speaking now?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, that's great. I can hear you. So I just have to.
Oh,
I have to turn my microphone off. That's a shame. Where? Right. I know that I'm crashing around the place. Just bear with me 1 second.
okay,
Right.
okay. Now just let us confirm you can hear us, right?
Yes, I can hear
Okay,
you.
that's cool.
I've not used Google Meet before, and I see all of these pictures of people. Are they listening already?
Yes, we can. Like how long time you were speaking, we can understand your voice clearly. It was loud and clear for us.
Okay, this is nice. This is a nice platform. I've only used Zoom. So,
Okay. Yes,
how many
thank
people
you very
do we
much.
have?
And yes, thank you very much, Joy, for joining our today's seminar. We were trying to wait for you. Like it's been a long time we were waiting for you, and thank you very much. It's really an honor for all of us. Thank you. And this is our examiner. This is our professional IELTS trainer, guys. And thank you very much, Joy, for joining us. And you can unmute yourself and you can speak with everyone.
Okay, so I'm delighted to be here. This is my first time using this platform. I see now at the bottom, does that mean there are 12 people?
Yes.
That's wonderful. So it's a wonderful thing you're doing, Mahidi. What I see is you're providing a free platform for people to practice their speaking. Is that right?
Yes, speaking as well as writing here. We are conducting 3 days for speaking, 3 days for writing. It's not like we know everything about all of writing. We have a little idea about writing and how many ideas we have. We are trying to collaborate at the same time and we are sharing our feedback with everyone after completing their task.
That's great. And so in the group, how many people have actually done the exam? I don't know if they can chat or comment or do you know, Mahidi? Do you know how many people?
Yes, I know few person they have done, and I believe like majority person here they are planning to have their exam, so it's really interesting for all of us and beneficial as well.
Okay, so now can I put my video on, or is this just voice?
Yes,
is this
of
without
course,
video?
of course. Joy, I believe it will be much better. We can try on our camera as well.
Yeah. Why don't we do this?
Okay, that's cool, guys. You can try on your camera.
I don't know how to turn mine on, so let's see.
Yes, they have like a camera icon. You can try on your camera there.
Yeah, camera, but it won't turn on. Is that because have I got Zoom on or something? That there, I was just teaching that there.
Joy,
Oh, it's so nice to see you guys.
Yeah.
No, I can't. Oh, I'm looking like such a technological dinosaur today.
Just let me know. Know, Joy. Are you using your mobile phone or laptop?
No, I'm on my laptop.
Okay. There are a few options, like you can see in the bottom figure. They have few options like mute, unmute, share, and lead call. They have
pressing the
camera
video.
options.
What options?
Yes.
I keep pressing the video and it has like a line through it, and then it takes the line off the camera and then it goes immediately back on. Let me just
I
hold
don't know
on.
what's happening.
Google Meet. So you sent me this camera not working. Let me just very quickly Google this, and if I can't, I can't. But I'll just investigate quickly. Camera not working on Google Meet. Okay. Turn on and point towards you. Check if double connected. Make sure accessing can be done in task if you have more than one camera.
I think everyone that could open their camera, they have simple options. I don't know why it's not working. Unfortunately, today we didn't have any software engineer and technician here. One thing, Joy, this is really interesting. We have 47 different nationalities here, and we have different skills.
Oh, wow. So anybody in here? What's the problem
Yes,
with Google Meet?
I'm just
And okay, my camera's not working.
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, just give me one more second. How to fix the problem here, Livewire.
Yeah, sure.
Google Meet, when you try and launch it, there's no video. When you launch it, there's an error. The Google Meet doesn't have access to your camera. Right. Restarting, you can make sure you're, if you're using Google, enable Chrome access to the camera. Right, okay. Right, 3 dots up, right hand, Chrome, good. Then go to settings, privacy, site settings. Security settings.
So sorry, Joy, you are struggling a lot.
No, it's fine. Right, hold on. 3 dots at the up hand corner, then go. Privacy and security. Default. Privacy and security, great, nearly there. And then next one is site settings, good, site settings. And then good, and then permissions, camera. Sites, good. Integrated camera. Hangout, Meet, good. Allowed to use your camera. So that should all be fine. Mahidi, could I just sign back in one more time? Would that be all right?
Yeah, all right. It's all right.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, Joy's back. Joy, your microphone is muted.
Oh, okay. So it just tells me that I've done some troubleshooting, and it tells me that Google Meet cannot use my camera. It cannot use this integrated camera. So anyway, we can proceed. That's a shame, because I always think it's nice to see someone's face. But anyway, we can carry on. I've got some slides that I can show you, and
Yes.
I don't know how.
Okay, you can share green mic.
Yeah, I'm going to share my screen. So present you in a window.
Just at the bottom of the screen, you can find out that there is like a video camera downstairs, just beside the microphone.
Yes. So, Eheb, thanks for that. I keep pressing it and it doesn't allow me.
It seems some setting problem in your mobile or your laptop.
Yeah, I'll figure this out afterwards. It's a terrible shame, but I'm still glad that you can hear my voice.
Yes,
we are going to look at. Well, first of all, I'd like to know what you know about the Ielts writing. What have you been doing so far?
Well, should I?
Yeah.
Okay. We have academic as well as general training students here,
Okay.
and we are trying to solve a writing task, not task one. So it would be difficult for all of us to like separate and the candidate who has an idea about task one about in general as well as academic. So we are trying not to solve this thing, solve only task two. But if you are here, if we this is our opportunity. If you are here, we would definitely like to know about task one, and we just know few things
Oh, you'd like
about
to know about task one?
yes, task one as well as task two. If you have, if you would like to share with.
Okay. Yeah. Mostly academic or mostly general? Or is it a
Most person
mix?
here might academic. So let's see. We can share with all of them. They could share here in our chat box how many percent they are academic. They could write academic, and how many
Yeah,
percent
that
they
would be
are from
great.
general. Then write.
That would be great. So let me just go on to here.
I'm gonna write here.
Task one. And we will find process
1, 3, 4.
dynamic.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Is it all academic?
Yes, majority percent here from academic. Only 1% from general. IO is from general.
Okay. So what we'll do then, we will let me find all material from task one. Great. Okay. So in that case, let me go on to, I'm going to stop presenting and I'm going to share another. I'm just going to share my whole screen because it's easier. And then you can see all my like private tabs at the top.
For you. So I should like change the host today. It can be
That's
host today,
fine.
and it can yeah, it will be much better. So I would never like this is your seminar. You can enroll your seminar. Just be comfortable here.
Okay, so this is fine. This is don't worry. I don't think we need to change anything. So task one structures. So this is just a very quick kind of academic. There are now what the students might know in this group is they might think, yeah, in the task one, there's like, let me show you. Let's go on to Google here, okay? And I'm sure that I actually haven't got a quick overview of task one Ielts. So, oh yeah, so Google Images. So can everyone see my screen? I'm just showing a page of Google Images. Can everyone see it? Yeah. Great. Thank you. I love active learning. Great. So probably what the students think is, okay, task one, there are many different charts. There is, what's this one, everyone? What's the name of this type of chart?
Bar chart.
Great job. Okay, and this one?
Line chart.
Yep.
Line.
And then
line graph.
Yep, good. And then the bottom one?
Pie chart.
Pie charts. Okay. So when you
Pie chart.
Good. It's a pie chart. That's great. When you start learning IELTS, you think, oh yeah, I need to learn how to answer a pie chart and I need to learn how to answer a bar chart. But actually, that's actually incorrect. There are only 2 types of charts, okay? And let me just, there is static and there is dynamic, okay? So it doesn't matter if it's a bar chart or a line graph. It matters if it's static or if it's dynamic. And that tells you how you will write your answer. Now, let me tell you what a static chart is. A static chart is a chart with, static means to stay still, okay? It doesn't move, with one time period. Alrighty, so let's go back and let's have a look. Let's have a look at this chart. Okay, this is Liz. This one with the pie charts and this table. How many time periods do you have here?
3.
3.
Fantastic. So this actually is not a static chart, okay? Let me have a look at this one. How many time periods do you have on this one?
1, 2, 3. 3.
6.
Time periods, not categories, time periods.
No.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
Oh,
no time.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay, so
Discuss it.
this is a static chart, okay? Now, a static chart, if it has no time on it, it's very easy. Then we write it in the present simple. But let me just find, the static chart could also be, have a look at this one. Now, it's not so clear, but what's the time period here?
There isn't any time period, I believe.
Have a look at the title.
It's not that clear.
It's
One
not that clear.
time.
Okay, I'm actually, yeah, it was one time. Very good. So,
2015.
yeah. I'm going to get a better demonstration here. I've got some static charts. Static overview. Okay, right, this is much better. Okay, so two types of charts, static and dynamic. Okay, so task 1, and these are the most common. There are also maps and there are also processes. And maps and processes need a completely different type of grammar to the charts, but they can all be answered with an introduction, an overview, and an overview is a short summary, but it's at the beginning of the report. I'll show you an example of an overview, and then 2 body paragraphs. But the most common question is going to be a chart, and it's going to be either a static chart or a dynamic chart. And it's so important that you know the difference. So it doesn't matter if it's a line graph. If it's static, then it's the same type of response as a pie chart. Okay, so you have to write a report describing a diagram or a chart. Now, you have 20 minutes to do this, but I strongly recommend that you do your task 2 first, because if this takes you longer than 20 minutes, then you are taking the time from your task 2, and the task 2 is more points. Okay, so you want 5 minutes to plan, so you should be able to write this in 15 minutes. Now, these are the different types of task 1. You've got a map, a process, a dynamic chart, or a static chart. And we're going to look at these. So most common type, very important to know the difference. So a static chart can be a bar chart, a pie chart, or a table. All right. The introduction of a task 1 chart is your, the structure is your introduction. This should be around 30 words. Then it should be an overview. This is critical. To get to 7, you must write an overview, and it's very, very simple to do. It's a short summary of the data with no statistics, just like what you can see. And it's usually over the more than, less than, the most, the least. We want to use these types of words in the overview. And then you want 1 paragraph of details and a 2nd paragraph of details, and they should be around 45 words each. So we need to use different language in a static chart than a dynamic chart. So a dynamic chart is a chart that changes over time, okay? And in a dynamic chart, we use these words: increase, decrease, climb, rocket. But in a static chart, we use language of comparison. So even if it's a bar chart, you don't want to say increase or decrease. If there's only 1 date, we want to use language like this: twice as many as, or an equal number of. So in a static chart, it's comparison language. So have a look and just let me test your knowledge again. Tell me if you see a date on this chart. Does anyone see a date?
No.
Great. Okay,
No,
so
no dates.
what tense are we going to use? What grammar tense?
Simple tense.
Present tense. Simple
Simple
Present
tense.
tense. Present simple. Very good. So present simple. We don't use these words, okay? Even though you see the red bar, it goes down. We do not say it decreases because there's no time. These words we only use if there is time, if there's like different dates, okay? So it's all about comparison. It's going to be more than or less than, and these words account for and make up. I'll show you a sample at the end. All right, table. Does anyone see a date on this?
Nope.
No.
Great.
No.
Good, good, good. So again, present simple. And it's going to be exactly the same response as this. We're going to have an introduction, an overview, and then 2 body paragraphs of details. Now that's the hard part. How do you decide which details to put into your chart? And we can talk about that in a second. Now, have a look at this one. Tell me, is it static or dynamic? Is it one date or more than one date?
One day.
No date.
One day.
Yeah,
One
one
date.
date. One date.
Great,
One
great.
date. Yeah.
And then what will the grammar be for this one?
Past tense.
Past
Very past
Past
simple,
simple.
fantastic. So one of the most common errors is to confuse the present perfect to say has increased, or we don't use the present perfect when the date is finished in the past, okay? And then what about this one?
2 dates.
Fantastic. So
2
this
dates.
is great. This is a dynamic chart, and this is completely different. So this is the type of chart where we use the verbs increase, decrease, climbed, increase gradually. So it's very important that we know the difference. It doesn't matter if it's a pie chart or a line graph. It matters if it's static or dynamic, okay? So down at the bottom here, not static, there are 2 dates. This chart requires completely different vocabulary and grammar. So let's have a look. So the first question you ask yourselves when you see a chart, any chart, is it dynamic or is it static? The second question is, what's the date? Because that will determine what your grammar is going to be. Now, if the date is in the future, does anyone know what grammar tense you might use or any phrases for the future? Let me tell you. So we want to avoid the verb or the modal will, and we want to try and use phrases like is expected to, or is anticipated to. So is expected to is the phrase. So let's imagine this is 2050. We would say books are expected to be higher than perfume. So future phrase, we don't want to use will, we want to use is expected to. Okay, so introduction. The chart below shows the expenditure of 2 countries on consumer goods. Synonyms for expenditure. Does anybody have any ideas?
I don't know.
A lovely way to paraphrase or to change expenditure is how much money. The chart illustrates how much money people spent on. Anytime you see expenditure, if you paraphrase that for how much money people spent on, it's fantastic for your points. And then we could also use this verb outlay. The chart illustrates the outlay. Outlay is a noun and a verb on different categories of goods. So the introduction is just really short. You're just changing the words. Here we go. The bar chart illustrates how much money people in France and the UK spent on 5 popular items in 2010. Now, in my academy and actually in my group, I do collaborative writing. I'd love to, maybe not now, but maybe another time, where I actually share a document with you, because it can be boring to listen to a presentation. It's nice to actually write. Okay, so here's your overview. The overview starts with overall, and it's a great opportunity to use a complex sentence. And a complex sentence is when you join two pieces of information with a linking word. So if you could use while, or whereas, or although, or even though in your overview, that's just brilliant. So let's have a look. Also, for your grammar, we must never put a comma after these words. This is a very common confusion. We mustn't do this. We mustn't put comma after while. Now, key features. These are the types of things that you put in your overview. Could anyone maybe make a sentence or make an overview? Maybe you're familiar with an overview using some of these words. Anyone, do you want to do that in the chat box? I'll show you, keep this on your screen, or you can even speak it if you like. I'll give you a minute to have a look, have a think, and then maybe write something, focusing on words like more than or less than, or the most or the least. I'll just come out of that so I can see in the chat box if anyone writes, because I've never used this before. Okay, chat box here. Academic. Great. So can you, now I've come off the screen. Can you, you can't see the screen. Where, look at all my tabs. Oh yeah. So somehow, I don't know how you can do it, but if you can look at the chart and write in the chat box, write some type of sentence about what you see are the key features, and we'll see what you do. How are we doing? Let me see. Is anyone?
Everyone writing.
Is that a bit tricky? Okay, if you're not writing, you can just say, so what do you see is the most in this chart?
Okay, so I think that both countries spent the most money on cars.
Oh, fantastic. That's beautiful. Yes, both countries spent the most money on cars. Now, if you are going to, and then if we're talking about the most, then we also want to talk about the least, okay? So we want to make it balanced. So what about the least? So we've talked about the most, what about the least?
That should be perfume.
Perfume for the UK, but what did France spend the least on?
France spent the least on cameras.
Cameras.
Great
Yeah,
job.
camera for...
Great job. So that was lovely. So I'm only looking at one screen, so I can't see who spoke and say thank you. Thank you for offering your answer. How would you join that with a whereas or a while and make it all one sentence? So we can say both countries spent the most on cars. And then to contrast, we can say whereas, so both countries spent the most on cars, whereas the UK spent the least on perfume and France spent the least on cameras. So let's see here. Overall, it is clearly seen that both the British and French spent most of their money on cars, whereas the least amount of money was spent, so I've just used the passive here, on perfume in the UK compared to cameras in France. Okay, so that is your overview. It only needs to be one sentence and a complex sentence. You can add another sentence. If you're going to add two sentences, your next sentence should start with moreover, to show that you're still talking about the overview. Okay. All right. Vocabulary for, okay, actually, we'll go back here. We'll not overload you. Let's stick with this graph. So we've done introduction and we've done overview. What about how would you logically organize your details? And you can do that in two ways. There's no one correct way. How would you divide the information?
Upgrade and decrease.
Well, no. How would you decide which categories do you write about in the next paragraph? So we've now got to write about, we've written an introduction and we've written an overview, and we need to write now two short body paragraphs. How do you decide which information are you going to put in which paragraph?
The comparison. You'll do the comparison.
Well, you can put France in one paragraph and you can put the UK in the other paragraph, okay, because there are two categories. Or you can talk about the highest in one paragraph and the lowest in the other paragraph. But it has to be logical. It has to make sense. Whatever you decide to write about, the examiner must see that you made a logical decision to write about it like this. Okay. All right. Any questions so far? Let me see.
I don't have any questions.
Okay, good. Let me see if I've got vocab organization. So organization. And not there. I'd like to find your model for this one. Organization. Organization, static charts. Here we go. Logically organize the data. So, to get a 7, you must logically organize the information and there must be clear progression. So you must, I cannot tell you how important it is to train yourself to plan for a few minutes before you write, because if you're just picking details from everywhere to write about with no organization, you're going to lose points and you won't get a 7. So there must be some type of logic. So you must group similar patterns or similar data types together, okay? It's equally as important to spend 5 minutes planning your task as it is to write it. Right, hold on. Let me go and find... So we can organize the data by category or by patterns. So when you're writing your details paragraphs, you're writing introduction, overview, then one paragraph of details, and then the second paragraph of details. And when you're writing your paragraphs of details, you can divide them by categories, like France and the UK, or you can divide them by patterns, like the highest categories and the lowest categories. And then when you write your details paragraphs, I was doing this in my academy this morning with the students, the first phrase is so important. You should tell the examiner, looking at the highest categories or looking at the UK. So you must introduce your body paragraph very, very clearly. So the body paragraph 1 could be France and body paragraph 2 could be the UK. But if you do it like this, there's less opportunity to make comparisons and get maximum points. So the way that I train students to do it is to put their information the most and the least. So body paragraph 1, the country which spent more than the other on some items. So if you can look at those details, can you tell me which countries spent more on what items?
Books. Were
UK speak
That
more
is
than
UK.
Cars.
UK.
Yeah, so UK spent more on cars. UK spent more on what other categories?
On commerce.
Car, book,
Books,
Books.
yeah, and
camera.
Box,
cameras.
cameras.
Yeah,
Okay,
camera.
so that's great. So that's 3 of the categories. The UK spent more. So you've identified a pattern. So then the first body paragraph, you can talk about looking at the categories which the UK spent more on, and then you can talk about cars, books, and cameras. And then the second body paragraph, you would say, regarding the categories which France spent more on. So you make it very, very clear. And this is how you get maximum points in task achievement, where you decide, you logically organize your information. You found a pattern. And it could be just dividing France and UK, or it could be talking about the most and the least, but you have to find some type of pattern. In order to score 7 or highest, you have to find a pattern. And luckily, they are designed with a pattern in them always. So doing it this way is the better opportunity to make comparisons. Okay, top tip. You must be super clear with the examiner which categories. Okay, the examiners need a signpost. Don't worry about being too simple. You must tell them now exactly what you're doing. They hate confusion. They have so much marking to do. They're always overwhelmed. They want you to make their job easy. And in my academy, the hardest work I have to do with students is simplifying their writing. They come in thinking they have to write crazy complex first sentences, and really it's a lot more simple than so. These are the types of phrases in your body paragraphs in terms of the items on which the UK spent more than France, and then you talk about your details. And then the second body paragraph regarding the categories where France spent more. Or you can say regarding the remaining categories, but you must start your body paragraphs with a clear phrase like this, okay? Any questions so far? Good. So after the comma, so this is our introduction phrase. Yeah. Oh, no question. So after the comma here, we need an independent clause. So we need then to start with a full subject and a verb. This doesn't actually contribute to part of the sentence. So here, there's an example sentence. In terms of the items on which the UK spent more, comma, the British outlaid, this is a synonym for spent, just over 450,000 on cars. And then we make a comparison as opposed to France with 400. Okay, so in a static chart, we're making comparisons. There's no increase or decrease, okay? We only have increase or decrease when there are 2 dates or 3 dates or many dates. But in a static chart, there's only 1 date. So there's nothing to change. Regarding the categories where France spent more, just over 350,000 was spent by the French on computers. And then you, these are some phrases to link your ideas for your coherence and cohesion. So similarly, or in contrast, or the second most popular item was, this is lovely, or the least favorite genre, or following this was, or following this, comma, crime novels had. So these are words that we use in the rest of the report. So this report is actually very, very short. It shouldn't take us much time at all. Okay, so I think, and then we've got this using respectively. I think that's possibly everything I have with you on a chart. Here's an example of the 1, and there's an example of the 2. I would be more than happy to put this into a PDF and send it to you. I can give it to Mahidi, who can share it with you all if you're interested.
Will be appreciated.
Great.
That'll be awesome.
Great. So, oh, great. The main thing I want you to take away from this, I don't want to overload you now and show you what dynamic charts are. The biggest problem that you're going to have in IELTS is overwhelm. And so it's just about studying strategically, okay? Making sure that you understand one thing really well before you move on to the next thing. And I know that, you know, you're doing the IELTS, you're very, very stressed because it's just a horrible exam and your whole life depends on it, especially if you suffer from anxiety. So one thing, you need to really get good at one thing and then move to the next thing. So today we have talked about the difference between all the different task 1s, and we've learnt that there are only 2 types of chart, and that is static or dynamic, okay? So if you have a bar chart like this, or if you have a table, and if there's only one date, it's a static chart, and you're using exactly the same language. Yeah, you can ask me, you can and ask me any questions if you're stuck. I've got a group which you're very welcome to join. And Mahidi, I don't know if you're in my group. So I've got a writing group. Every Wednesday I go live and I do a video evaluation and show how to make the essay a band 7. And I give some tips, and I always highlight 3 grammar rules, and I do it according to a structure I developed. You're welcome to join my group. I do on Wednesdays, and put this into a PDF and give it to Mahidi, who can share it. Any questions? Oh, I can see someone making notes. Trin, are you making notes, or are you doing some other work? I thought I saw you write. That's very, very good.
I'm recording your Okay, I'm recording your seminar. End of our conversation, we'd upload our this videos on our channel. Then other person, they would understand what we had, what we did today's conversation.
That's so great. That's fantastic. So, oh, sharing my screen. Hold on, let me. Yes, so great. So we've done static charts today. However, I also I don't have like a. I don't really know how to share this, but what I do have is a PDF of the 5 task 2 essay structures with the exact introductions and topic sentences and conclusions that you can use in your task 2. Now I have a very nice link for that, so it's easy for you to get it. Would you be interested in that as well?
Yes, of course.
Yes, sure.
Let me put that up. Mahidi, is that okay to share that?
Yes, sure. Sure, please.
So, okay, in the chat box, everyone, watching the replay, and so I've called this the Band 7 Writing Success System. So this is a strategy for your task 2 essays. And it's 5 different essays, and it's got the exact introductions and topic sentences. And then if you want to see live evaluation, I do that on Wednesdays. Yeah, so my task now is just...
Sorry for interruption.
No, I finished.
Okay, I've already opened this, and they have a page, not like page, it's a website, the IELTS Band 7+ Writing Success System.
That's it. So just scroll down and where is it? Oh yeah, click on I want my free copy.
Yeah, the bottom part. The bottom parts of the page.
Copy now.
That's it, the bottom part, or even at the top.
Yes.
It says download my free copy now.
Top. Okay, I have to sign up. Okay, first name. Okay,
And then it goes to your
account.
email. So then you have to check your email and you get the PDF.
Okay.
Hey Joy.
Hey, Sammy.
So when it comes to task one, if you decide to write it according to category instead of pattern, how would you do the comparison? Because
Okay,
let's
let's have a look.
say you choose to write on France first
Yeah.
and then Britain.
What
How would you do the
question?
comparison?
What a great question. Let me get that. Where are we? I've got a million. Look at all my tabs. So, okay. If we did it, so what we would do is we would talk about. So the introduction phrase, Sammy, would be looking at France's expenditure. And then it would be France cars accounted for the highest expenditure. And then you would put a comma and you would say, you would maybe make one or two comparisons and you would say, you could still compare it to the UK. You would still say which was slightly less than the UK. And then you'd say this is followed by computers with, and then the statistic, and books with, and then you would, in your last sentence, it's only 2 or 3 sentences per body paragraph. And then you would say one of the least popular items was perfumes with, and then you could say notably the French spent more than, you could just still throw in a comparison, 1 or 2, and then when you're writing about the UK, you could throw in the opposite comparisons. As long as you make 1 comparison per body paragraph. So you can compare it with the UK, Sammy, or you can compare it with others. So you can say France spent France spent the most money on cars, comma, with 400,000, comma, which was slightly more than computers. Okay, so you're either comparing them with each other or you're comparing them with the other country. So you've made 1 comparison, which was slightly more than computers with 375, and then start the next sentence. The French people spent 300,000 on books, and then a comma, and then that's actually a third. You could say that's approximately a third more than perfume. Does that make sense?
It does.
Great. Okay, so you're comparing them with each other. So, and then you would make your last sentence. Finally, the French spent the least amount of money, 150,000 on cameras. And you don't need to make a comparison there, but you've already made 2 comparisons here. Okay, so you've said slightly more here, and here you've said a third more, because we've done the maths. They're like, that you can see that breaks into 3 portions. Okay.
Thanks for the explanation.
You would get a 7 by doing it by category. You wouldn't get less points, and it's probably more straightforward to do so. Yeah. So great stuff, you guys. Good. Any other questions?
I have a few questions about writing tasks too.
Okay, I just see, and Vera, can you explain one more about line graph?
Yes.
So Vera and Mahidi, sorry. So Vera, about the line graphs,
No.
the line graphs are not going to be static, they're going to be dynamic. Okay, so they always change over time. When we do a dynamic chart, let's see here. Okay, so just testing your knowledge, everyone. On this chart, how many dates do you see?
4 almost.
Yeah, so this is going to use language such as increase, decrease. Now, in the overview, it's exactly the same, like identify the key features. And with a dynamic chart, the key features are always the change over the time. We don't think about the individual changes, not the little changes in the middle, We look at what happened from beginning to the end. And so how many categories do we have in this line graph?
4.
Okay. And then what can you see? Is there any patterns, like which ones increase, which ones decrease?
It's not that clear, but the picture is really small. We cannot see it very well.
It is small. If anyone can...
United Kingdom is decreasing.
Yep.
And then for I guess it's Portugal.
I think it's actually
increasing.
Sweden. I think it's Sweden that's decreasing. Yeah.
Sweden.
And then Portugal's increasing. So again, with the overview here, we use whereas again. Okay. So in overview for static and dynamic, we use whereas. So we'll say overall, Italy and Portugal, or carbon dioxide emissions from Italy and Portugal increased, whereas they decreased in the United Kingdom and Sweden. Okay, so we're using increase and decrease. And then Vera, I wouldn't want to just start giving a whole presentation on the dynamic language, because I don't believe in teaching two things at the same time. It confuses students. You won't remember anything about the static chart. Okay, but what I can tell you here is that to logically organize your information, simply choose body paragraph 1, the 2 categories that decrease, and body paragraph 2, the 2 categories that increase. Okay?
Yeah.
And that's what you talk about. And then you can contact me if you want to join my academy, and I'll teach you how to write that. Okay? Good. So, and then Mahidi, you were going to ask me about task 2.
Yes, of course. My first question is about task 2. To be honest, like a lot of person, they say like we can use a single idea. It's absolutely fine. We have to write an introduction first, and then a couple of body paragraphs and a conclusion. So in our body paragraphs, we have to write a couple of ideas, or like one. Or
Depends the question. So if you have doing my group tomorrow, I'd love you to join. If you have a question that's just simple agree or disagree, like to what extent, then I would suggest probably just one idea in the body paragraphs. But it's often difficult to develop just one idea. But if you have like cause and solution or problem and solution essay, then you often need to talk about 2 causes and 2 solutions. You should certainly not have any more than 2 ideas. 2 ideas is maximum. You should never write in your body paragraphs, firstly, blah, blah, secondly, blah, blah, finally, blah, blah. You should write your first idea, you should introduce it, and then you should write some type of explanation. And then if you're writing a second idea, you should introduce it with on top of that, or moreover, and then you introduce your second idea in a short sentence, and then you explain that as well. So it depends on the type of essay question. In that PDF, there are 5 types of essay questions. If it's a discuss both views, you know, the question that's most common, discuss both views and give your own opinion. My strategy is to not to write a balanced view. You should definitely agree with one side and disagree with the other. It's much more straightforward. So you should write about the side that you disagree with first. And for your task achievement, it's really good to only have one idea for the side that you disagree with, and then 2 ideas for the side that you agree with. So Ayo Atoki, it's absolutely compulsory to write a topic sentence. What's the right structures for writing task 2? Well, I've just given you a PDF. So I'd like you to look through that. And that isn't just my ideas. I've looked for a year on that. It's quite simple PDF. I've got 2 examiners working with me, and I've worked for a year making the most simple, straightforward structure. What does the examiner want? Do they want a background sentence? Do they not? You don't need a background sentence to score highly. So the correct are in to that my and I can, talk you through. So every week in the group, I email the students a question, and then they all submit their answer to the question, and I choose one. This is the criteria that I choose, because everyone used to send any essay. I choose one that has demonstrated that they've tried to follow my structure, and one that is already about a 6.5, and I show you how to make it a 7. Okay, so that's the criteria, that I choose one, you follow the structure that I give you, and you're already around 6.5, because then that benefits the other students the most. If I'm choosing an essay that's about band 5, it doesn't benefit the other students so much. Yeah. Oh, you want a band 8, Ayo? Okay. Well, so have you done the exam already? I wonder, I mean, are you already?
No, I haven't. But I'm preparing for it, and I want to give it just a shot. I don't want to waste time or money. So,
of course, yeah, I get you.
As I wrote in the chat box, I don't want 7. I want 8, band 8 and above. So I'm working hard towards that.
Fantastic. Are you a native English speaker?
Yeah, I'm in Nigerian. So English is not my native language. It's just a secondary language that we have to learn because we have to go to school.
Sure.
And we are always taught in English language.
Okay. Band 8 is pretty hard. I'm not going to lie. In writing.
But I don't believe so. I don't believe so. I believe that if I work hard and if I learn very well, I am going to get a band 8 or 8.5.
Love your attitude. Absolutely. Yes. Good. Okay, so submit an essay, and I'll see if you're around an 8 and what we can do to make it an 8.
Hey Joy, can I submit mine too? I've done 6.5 twice.
Yeah, of course you can. I just can't guarantee to select your Sammy. So it used to be I tried to give feedback to everyone, but I've got 15,000 in the group now. So I can't guarantee, but sure, just like ping me on Messenger and let me know that you've submitted it in the group, and I'll have a quick look at it.
Sure.
Great.
Can mine be the last one, please?
Yeah, just submit them. I can't guarantee I'll choose yours, but I'll choose one that will benefit everyone the most, okay, where we can find some great collocations. So in terms of your vocabulary, for band 7 and higher, you're really wanting to be using really nice collocations, and collocations are words that go naturally together, such as I did an essay yesterday, evacuation procedures. Okay, so we were talking about it's necessary to, the question was, is the news relevant for people's lives or not? And the students wrote, yes, it's relevant because the weather reports are necessary in case people need evacuation procedures. Basically, words that go together, evacuation procedures goes together, or a mode of transport. It's a nice collocation, not just a way, a mode of transport, a means of transport. So when you're aiming for band 7 and higher, you need to be using these collocations, not idioms, not so much phrasal verbs, but you need collocations. And those by reading. You need to be reading articles, high-level essays, National Geographic. Yeah. Alrighty. I think that's me. It's very lovely to see you all. I'm so sorry, my video didn't work. I don't know what happened there. That's a shame.
That's okay, no problem.
It's okay.